No one knows how to behave when you go anywhere. It's why I don't like to leave the house that much. Waiting online, it was a like an ice cream place or something, or I don't even remember what it was. And we get in and we're facing one way in line, and the people in front of us were facing us. They were like turned the other way, like the counter's that way. Everyone, there's rules when you go out and you stand in line at a place, you face forward in line. You don't turn around, and they weren't even in the line. They were kind of out to the right, and they disrupted the whole thing. And at that point, I was pretty much like, the heck with it. Let's just go home. Steve Weiner here from GetRubix.com, and today we're going to take a look at how we can tell which apps are out of date and need to be updated that you have deployed in your Intune environment. I mean, I'm not saying it should be illegal, but I'm saying if you're sitting there and someone in front of you is in line and they're turned around facing you, or they're not standing in the line proper the way it's supposed to be, something needs to be done. Action must be taken of some kind.
GetRubix, solving for the modern workplace.
Okay, a common issue I run into a lot when talking to folks about app packaging is, if you're here in Intune and I go to apps, where can I go to see what apps are, out of date? They have some monitoring here, and I can look at discovered applications, and this would be things that are found on my devices. But there's nothing that's going to tell me if something needs to be patched. I have the version, but I might not know at first glance. And let's say you have, you're a large organization, you're going to have a lot of applications, right? So this is a common question, right? I get from endpoint admins is, how can I tell this, right? So you're really not going to get that. Now, if you're using the Intune suite, right, and you're going to have, if you're using the app catalog, they're going to tell you those, but that's going to be limited to anything you pushed with the Intune suite itself, right? So that is one thing that's been pointed out. However, that requires using the enterprise app catalog and adoption of that, and all your apps to be, kind of pushed that way. So, just calling that out, it's something that's there. But if we could just go look at our applications, it's going to be difficult. So what can we do about this? Well, I'm going to head over, as you know, I have Robopack connected to my tenant. So when I go to Robopack, they introduced a really cool new feature called Radar. So what's Radar? Well, so it'll scan the Intune environment, right, and show you the apps that it finds in Intune. And this way we can start assigning them to patch groups, right? And then we'll be able to see what's not where it should be. So let me show you here real quick. And of course, it supports multi-tenant. So I have a few demo tenants connected, but I'll go to the main one, Rubix Dev, and we're just going to hit scan with Radar. Okay, so if you take a look at this, it found all these apps in my tenant, right? So what I can do is, if I already have patch groups, I can add these to those. And then it's also going to show you down here things that it finds. Maybe these are, custom packages you have yourself, and these are not available for patching. And that would make sense, right? Autopilot branding. I have a weird package that adds Chrome to the desktop. So it does report on everything. Okay, so if I just want to add a patch flow to this, keep 3. So automatically you can see, even though we didn't set this up with Robopack, it's going ahead and like capturing this for us. So I'm going to create a flow. So while it's being prepared, you have a lot of options for deployment. So the first is a deployment wave, right? And this is where we can determine who gets it first, how few devices, how many devices, and what that looks like. So now you're not just limited to the tenant you found the app in, which is nice. So I found this in Rubix Dev, but let's say I want to then go deploy it somewhere else. I can, right? I'm going to leave it in Rubix Dev for now. And I have different groups. So I'm going to type in Win. I have my corp group, right? So I should have my Win AP. Maybe it's called Corp. You got to know what your group is called. Win Corp. I'm going to use that group. So now that Azure AD group is going to be part of this wave. And if I want to edit some of this, just like I showed you last time, you can edit all these, right? You can remove these assignments on completion. You can select a response rate. You can select a minimum install success rate. So for me, it would be as long as 75% of the devices that are supposed to get it, I would consider that a success. So you can edit those attributes, but now we're all set here. And once that prepares, we're going to be good to go. And you can see it's going to give me the latest version. All right, and that's all set. So we can save that deployment. And what that'll do for us is once that's ready to roll, it'll deploy the latest Visual Studio Enterprise to the Wave 1. Alternatively, what you can do is you can create a patch group. And from the patch group, you can assign multiple apps to it. So for example, I can say, this is a, patch group 0, first round of devices to get third-party apps updated, whatever it is. And there's a bunch of options you can choose when setting this up, machine or user. I'm going to leave it on the default machine. And then a whole bunch of other options, right? Do you want to stop deployment once a new version is added? How many versions do you want to keep? I like the 3 superseded versions. And what we can do with this is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this patch group. And when we look at it, there are no apps in here, but we can import apps with Radar. So take a look. We're going to go back and scan again. So I'm going to pick a bunch of apps. We're going to do Docker. We're going to do .NET SDK. We're going to do Teams. We're going to do Oracle VirtualBox. We're going to do, remote help, whatever it is. And then we can select our patch group and hit add 5 apps to patch group. Great. So now if we go to that patch group, take a look at this. All apps are part of that, right? So now what we'll do is we'll edit the patch group, and it's just warning us anything we edit here will modify the options and waves for 5 groups. So I'm going to make a new wave. And I'm going to send that to the same group in Rubix Dev. And we're going to do corp. We're going to search for those corp devices. WinCorp. Perfect. And we're going to save the patch group. So now we have a wave it'll get deployed with. So we have a wave. We have our 5 apps. Now we're going to start deployment. So this is going to automatically roll out those 5 latest versions to our wave for us. So there's a few pretty cool things here I want to reiterate about Radar, right? One is we can automatically grab everything that we're detecting in Intune, whether it came from Robopack or not, right? And you saw I had a good amount of apps from there, but I use a few different third-party patching tools, right, to kind of test stuff out. So they weren't all Robopack, but it didn't really matter. I found them all. And no, it's not going to immediately say these are all out of date right now. It's not going to say, hey, this one needs to be updated. This one's good. But it kind of doesn't matter, right? Because I'm automatically pulling them all in under one roof, so to speak, and I'm grabbing the latest version. And once I have the wave set up with my patch group, I can report on all that, right? And I can see amongst the waves who has been updated. So the next time I'm asked as an endpoint admin, maybe from the security team, hey, what does our patch status look like for third-party apps? Well, I could simply show them, from a Robopack report. So I think the Radar feature is really awesome. I know they're constantly building on it and adding more. So it's going to be really exciting as far as what they have coming next. Let me know in the Discord if you use Robopack, if you've tried it, what your thoughts are on it, and we'll be seeing you.